Hello, this is Scott Robinson. This is my video presentation which accompanies my research paper for Accounting 595, spring semester 2019. My college ID is 50105306. Uh, the topic of my research paper was the pros and cons of artificial intelligence in accounting. Um, Artificial intelligence has become uh, much more well known in recent years. It gets a lot of attention in the media. And there's really two consensuses when it comes to artificial intelligence overall, not necessarily just in the accounting industry. And it's the more negative one is that it's going to cause mass unemployment. It's because it's going to take the jobs that currently require human labor, and obviously the negative impacts of having mass unemployment. It's really kind of a more dire, but there are some legitimate concerns from that consensus. The more positive consensus is that more of the glass is half full perspective. People see the value that it can add, and by having these applications do more of the tedious, routine, mundane tasks in various jobs, that it's going to free up those professionals to focus on more areas, perhaps even create markets for services that don't exist today. Specifically in the accounting industry, obviously things like accounts receivable, accounts payable, would benefit from artificial intelligence. Some of those applications are some of those processes, are currently automated, but through artificial intelligence, they could develop applications that would read in a number of formats invoices, and identify them, index them, route them, and perhaps even pay them completely systematically. So that would free up people dedicated to those processes to do other things. Another example of that from my paper is that of Crowe Hayworth, which which is a larger firm, so it has more resources and obviously more applications using artificial intelligence. And capitalizing on that, they were able to free up 20 accountants to focus on creating efficiencies in healthcare claims, specifically the processing of the claims. So the artificial intelligence was able to free up those people to do the project. Not only that, but they were able to use various aspects as far as data mining to get the data that would have required a significant amount of people to be allocated to it. And overall, the project was very successful. So, of course, right now, the larger firms really have the resources to develop these applications, but in time, as those applications are developed and become more widely used, they'll probably trickle down to the medium and smaller size firms. I kind of found a few other examples. They weren't really resource worthy for the paper. Kind of found them on the news. One of them is Boeing. Recently, Boeing has had some issues with their 737, and this week they announced that they are going to automate some of their quality assurance processes with artificial intelligence applications. It will displace 900 people, but those people aren't losing their jobs. They're actually going to be reallocated to other areas of the company. There may be some layoffs, but that's to be expected. But what it's going to do is it's going to use these applications in their quality assurance program, and it's expected to provide more accuracy, more efficiency, and more consistency. And it will obviously help the company identify some of those areas of quality concern so that they can be addressed prior to production. Another example I found was in an episode of Vice News, and they were doing a piece on the future of the workplace, given the rise of artificial intelligence. And they used one specific example. It was in reviewing legal contracts. This one lawyer had developed a piece of software that used artificial intelligence to review contracts, looking for specific phrases within the contracts and then automatically replacing those based on the statements, based on the phrase. Um, and it can even identify um, matters that needed sort of set aside for human review. And what they did is they used this and they put it up against a human who did the same thing. It happened to be a law professor from a university. And they put them side by side to do the same thing. Obviously, the application reviewed a significant number of more contracts than the human. But it also did so with more accuracy, efficiency, and also found issues that the law professor did not. At the end of that scenario, they asked the law professor, they're like, what do you think about this? Is this going to, cost a lot of people their jobs? And he was more of the positive persuasion and said, well, I see the opportunities for this. This is going to free up people to do other things that they normally do. He's like, it requires a lot of human labor to manually go over all of these contracts. He goes, these people are now going to be able to be allocated towards other things. So that was a positive. Another example is cryptocurrencies. Most people are aware of Bitcoin, but there's other cryptocurrencies there. There's actually hundreds. One of those is Ethereum. Ethereum is has more business applications. In fact, the currency itself has an artificial intelligence application built into it that can execute contracts. So, kind of like the example I just gave, it can review the contracts, make changes to the contracts, and execute them instantly. So that's kind of a neat feature. I thought it'd be to be added. I didn't really find a lot of articles on it that probably would have been good resources for the paper. But overall, I think going forward, you're going to see a lot more artificial intelligence applications, specifically in accounting, which has a number of functions that could be benefit from it. And I think overall, it is going to create a lot of changes. It probably is going to eliminate or minimize a lot of jobs, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to result in mass unemployment. But we'll see. I think it all depends on what is implemented and how fast it's implemented. If there's this buildup of applications and then all of a sudden they flood the market, it is going to cost a lot of jobs. But if it's done in an organized, planned fashion, I think a lot of that can be minimized. So anyway, I really enjoyed doing the research for the paper. I learned a lot and found a lot of interesting resources. So I hope you do too. Thank you.